Welcome to Dark Fiction, a podcast where we delve into the darkest corners of humanity and explore the minds of serial killers, the paranormal and the unexplained. Join us as we journey into the unknown, unravel the mysteries of the unknown, and uncover the truth behind some of the most chilling and terrifying cases. This is not for the faint of heart, but for those who seek the truth and have a thirst for the macabre. I am your host, Charlie, and I'll be guiding you through each episode. So sit back, relax, and let's begin our journey into the darkness. Today we delve into the twisted psyches of history's most notorious serial killer. And today we're going to be talking about Ted Bundy, one of the most notorious and heinous criminals of the 20th century. Bundy, born Theodore Robert Bundy in 1946, was an American serial killer, kidnapper, rapist, and necrophile who murdered at least 30 young women and girls during the 1970s. He was active in several states across the country, including Washington, Utah, Colorado, and Florida. Bundy was known for his charm and good looks, which he used to lure his victims. He would often pretend to be injured or in need of assistance, gaining the trust of his victims before attacking them. He also used various tactics to kidnap his victims, such as pretending to be a police officer or authority figure. Despite his heinous crimes, Bundy was able to evade capture for a significant amount of time. He was eventually arrested in 1975 and charged with multiple counts of murder and kidnapping. He escaped from prison twice, once in 1977 and again in 1978, before being captured for the final time in 1978. Bundy's trial and eventual execution in 1989 captivated the nation, as he was given the death penalty for his crimes. During his time on death row, Bundy gave several interviews and confessed to many of his crimes, providing insight into the mind of a serial killer. He also suggested that pornography played a role in his actions, although this claim experts. Bundy's case continues to be studied by criminologists and psychologists in an effort to understand the motives and behavior of serial killers. Bundy's killing spree began in the mid-1970s, but it wasn't until 1978 that he was finally caught by the police. He was arrested in Florida for the murder of a 12-year-old girl, and was later linked to a string of murders in several other states. During his trial, Bundy represented himself and was known for his manipulation tactics, including trying to charm the jury and playing on their sympathies. Despite this, he was found guilty and sentenced to death. Bundy's execution by electric chair in 1989 marked the end of a long and gruesome chapter in American criminal history. But his case continues to fascinate the public to this day, as many questions about his motives and actions remain unanswered. One of the most striking aspects of Bundy's crimes is the fact that he was able to blend in so seamlessly with society. He was a well-educated and articulate individual, who held a number of jobs, including working as a crisis hotline counselor and as a political campaign worker. He also had several long-term relationships, including a fiancée who was unaware of his criminal activities. This ability to lead a double life has led experts to suggest that there may be many other individuals like Bundy in society, who are able to conceal their violent tendencies and evade detection. Bundy's case has also brought attention to the issue of serial killers and the criminal justice system's ability to effectively identify and prosecute them. Many experts have criticized the way in which Bundy's case was handled, arguing that more could have been done to prevent him from continuing to kill. In recent years, several books and documentaries have been released about Bundy and his crimes, including the Netflix series Conversations with a Killer, the Ted Bundy tapes, which aired in 2019. Bundy's case is also significant for the way in which it was covered by the media. He was often referred to as the handsome devil by the press, which has been criticized for glamorizing his crimes and downplaying the suffering of his victims. During his trial, Bundy was also able to use the media to his advantage, giving interviews and using the attention to try and sway public opinion in his favor. This led to a phenomenon known as Bundy mania, where people became fascinated with the charismatic killer and followed his case closely. Bundy's victims were primarily young women, many of whom were college students. He would often approach them in public places, such as shopping malls or libraries, before abducting them and taking them to secluded locations where he would commit his crimes. The full extent of Bundy's crimes may never be known, as he confessed to 30 murders but is believed to have committed many more. He also refused to reveal the whereabouts of some of his victims' bodies, leaving their families without closure. Bundy's case serves as a chilling reminder of the potential dangers that exist in society and the importance of being vigilant and aware of one's surroundings. It also highlights the need for a more effective system for tracking and prosecuting serial killers. Bundy's trial also brought to light the issue of the death penalty and the morality of capital punishment. Many argued that Bundy deserved to die for his heinous crimes, while others questioned whether the state should have the power to take a human life. Bundy himself was conflicted on the matter, and changed his stance on the death penalty multiple times. In the beginning, he pleaded not guilty and fought to prove his innocence, but later he pleaded guilty in some of the cases to avoid the death penalty, and also suggested to assist in finding the remains of some of his victims in exchange for a life sentence. Bundy's case also had a significant impact on the way in which the criminal justice system approaches serial killers. Before his arrest, the concept of a serial killer was not widely recognized, and law enforcement agencies had limited understanding of how to track and prosecute these types of criminals. After Bundy's trial, a more coordinated and specialized approach to investigating serial killings was developed, with the creation of specialized task forces and the sharing of information between different jurisdictions. Additionally, Bundy's case has been studied by criminologists and psychologists to understand the mind of a serial killer and what might have motivated him to commit such heinous crimes. In conclusion, Ted Bundy's case is one of the most infamous in American criminal history. He was a highly intelligent and charismatic individual who was able to evade detection for years while committing brutal murders. His trial brought to light the issues of media sensationalism, the death penalty, and the criminal justice system's ability to effectively track and prosecute serial killers. Bundy's case serves as a chilling reminder of the potential dangers that exist in society, and the importance of being vigilant and aware of one's surroundings. It also highlights the need for a more effective system for tracking and prosecuting serial killers, and the ongoing debate on the morality of capital punishment. The legacy of Ted Bundy and his crimes continue to be studied by criminologists, psychologists, and law enforcement agencies, in the hopes of gaining a better understanding of the mind of a serial killer. Thank you for listening to this episode of our podcast on Ted Bundy. We hope you have gained a deeper understanding of one of the most notorious serial killers in American history. And that's it for this episode of Dark Fiction. Thank you for listening and joining us on our journey into the darkness. We hope you enjoyed the episode and learned something new. We'll be back soon with more chilling and terrifying stories, so be sure to subscribe to our podcast to stay updated. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. Remember, the truth is always out there, sometimes it's just hidden in the shadows. Thanks for listening.